Did you know ChatGPT can create consistent images in line with your company's CI? Welcome to this first video in a series of small tutorials where we actually will provide usable insights for you. At the end of this video, I will provide you with an info on how to get free access on today's GPT so you can simply customize and use it without the need to start from scratch. So, what are we going to talk about today? So we will start looking at a GPT for image generation that does image generation in a consistent style. This means we are going to first take a look on how this works, how the prompt is structured, and then why this is working well. So I'll talk about the prompt techniques a bit. Afterwards, I show you how to customize the GPT and finally how to get your hands on it. So let's dive in. So what you see here is my ChatGPT environment, and I already, to save some time, prepared an example for us. So what I was prompting this GPT to was an image of a desk, office desk with a computer. So what it did this time doesn't do it all. Every time is it planned ahead, planned out the image, and then it generated the image in this specific style. So if you look at it, it's an illustration style. We have some colors, some gradients and stuff that, actually is what we decided to go for with this GPT. So to give you just another example, I also prompted I just said a racing car, and you see, even if the color palette is slightly different, a bit cooler, whilst this was on the warmer side, you have actually the orange that's repeating itself, and the general style of painting is consistent. How did we do that? So what we created is a GPT. So in the OpenAI interface of ChatGPT, you are now, or already for half a year or so, are able to create custom GPTs. These custom GPTs are basically a way to say, hey, how are we going to tell ChatGPT that it has to answer in a certain way or has to have some information it has to take into consideration. So GPTs are actually really useful to kind of prepare and preset your environment. So what does this actually mean? So what we've done here, this is, by the way, Svetlana did the heavy lifting for that. You know her from the podcast, so thank you very much for that. But let's quickly go over what we actually have done here. So the heart of this is, of course, the actual system prompt. And what we did additionally to that is we added two images. It doesn't show them. Give me a second. We added two images where you see where the style is coming from. So this image and this image, they kind of give ChatGPT the hint on what to create. So if you compare this table to this table, you have some idea where it gets its inspiration from. So how Svetlana approached it was she created images with ChatGPT. She tried out what image worked, what didn't. And with that, she went ahead, and after she found one or two that really match up the style she is aiming for, she went ahead and asked GPT to actually describe it. So because you can upload an image to ChatGPT and say, hey, describe this image to me. And actually, this all went then into the system prompt, which we will have a look at now. One thing Svetlana did here is pretty common, is to actually structure your prompt, especially your system prompt, in a way where you have clear separation of concerns. So she starts with the objective, where she gives the general idea. So generate images in a modern, flat design style that are detailed, illustrative, and use soft muted color palette. So this is, like we said, with the help of of AI, and just like, yeah, corrected by us, and of course handed over to this system prompt. Then we have key characteristics where we basically put in, what the AI like seems to see as the key characteristics of the image. Specific scene elements we go for, like workspaces, home environments, auto settings. So this basically provides some guidance, like where the image is to be placed from like an environmental perspective. And then you have the instructions for generating the image. Sketch the layout, begin with a clear sketch of the scene layout, ensuring all elements are proportionally placed. Define elements, the vector lines to define elements in each scene. So it's basically an instruction on how to generate the image. Means it gives it actually like instructions on how to paint it, which gives the LLM a really, really good idea on how this whole thing will behave. So this leads then into something that you most always want to have in your system prompts, is some examples. We have, for example, here, create a modern flat design illustration of a creative workspace, which is one of the example prompts. You can have a look at it after you got it, and actually giving it some example prompts that it knows, like, okay, what's the goal, what are we aiming for, and what's, if I type in a racing car, I basically mean a racing car in the modern flat illustrative design. And so based on the works on the scene elements we defined here, we created also example prompts on how image prompt might look like. Then we give it something in the section additional tips, which says, okay, maintain consistent style across all generated images. This is actually what we're aiming for, of course. Then balance, pay attention to the balance of elements within the scene to create a harmonious composition. And creativity, encourage creativity in the representation of everyday scenes, adding unique details that enhance the visual interest of the illustrations. So this is actually what we are doing often in prompt design, is to not only hand over, like, yeah, this is what you should do. Like, you could also think about a prompt design which is basically this, but this wouldn't lead to consistent images. So that's why you have key characteristics, you have specific scene elements defined for the scene environments you want to go for. So, for example, a racing car wasn't even in here, but it still managed to do this properly. And you go for examples. You have to be careful with examples and system prompts, because sometimes it leads to it being a bit rigid and sticking to the examples. But most of the time, examples like improve your prompt quality, or like your output quality, by a big margin. And the additional tips, of course, pay all into giving the LLM a tight space to work in, so that it can be creative with the given instructions, and therefore be consistent. So the less ambiguity you create within your system prompt, and the less spaces you leave left and right for getting out of bounds, the less it happens. So that's a common theme in all of the system prompts I designed until now is give the whole system as little room as possible for actually breaking out. So yeah, that's something. Last part, always use either splash of bright orange or bright teal color in the final result. And this, also to give it some variance, because if you use it on social media, you want to have a bit of variance in the colors. And then this is actually pretty cool that this works, because back in the days, I think we always got like quadratic images, and I know that I used AI to generate a 1x1 image, and then use another AI to extend the image to get to 16:9. But no, this is solved by just saying, hey, output 16:9 format images, which we actually got here, which we also got here. So you see this actually works, giving them the format. And yeah, that's the system prompt. So you see this is actually, like I said, giving as little room as possible. So how are you going about to actually do something with it? And that's where we now try to show basically the whole way. In the end of the video, you will get the instructions on how to get the link to the GPT. You open it up and you basically see this one. Except I have the German version open now, but this is like configure, this is like create, and you will have a create button in the top right there. So what you can do, first of all, what I would do is find, first of all, sample images that fit what you actually need. That said, you can also just describe the GPT what you want to have changed, and it changes it. So for example, if I say I want to go ahead and say I want the images to be more industrial and photorealistic. And you just type it in, and then he goes ahead, he looks at the system prompt and tries to update it so that then fits what you're looking at. So the GPT has been updated to generate more industrial photorealistic images. Okay, so let's just try the same thing we did before. Office desk with a computer. And yeah, you see again, it goes ahead, plans it out, and then it goes and generates the image for us. So yeah, let's see what we get here. And here you go. So we got an image. It's definitely more photorealistic. Sadly, it doesn't show up. Let's try this. There we go. So you see, it is photorealistic. It's not illustrated anymore. It's more photorealistic. It also got the industrial design with steel and like, yeah, the raw walls and stuff. So yeah, it actually was able to change our previous prompt, and that's one way to handle this. Another way would also be to just upload the images that you found as an example to this builder function, and then you go to then you just describe it. Hey, this is the images. Please describe the style and apply it to the system prompt. And for that, you will be able to see that he now says he changed this one, he changed the several points here, but he didn't change the overall like way on how we designed the prompt. So it just created a new version of it, which is which is pretty neat. So to be honest, because you don't have to recreate everything and copy paste from different chats. You just say, hey, please change it in that way. What you still need to do then, after you change the prompt, is in this case you remove the images, upload the 1 or 2 images you found, which should be the actual templates, and then you go ahead and yeah, you're ready to go. Click on update or on publish, whatever it shows on your screen. And yeah, that's mostly how you get this GPT to work in the way that you want. I hope this helped you understand how this works, and also like how our prompting was structured. Like I said, a lot of these prompting techniques can actually be reused in different scenarios. So yeah, try it out, give the LLM the path, and then it's actually able to follow it pretty well. If you want to get access to this GPT, you find this and a lot of other useful material in our blog, and the link to our blog will be down in the description. So yeah, thanks a lot. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, with that, yeah, thank you for listening. See you next time.